Hey, folks, and welcome back to our final episode in the Kingshot whale migration series, where we have tracked Hugh's progress as he blew up a $20,000 account to beat a kingdom transfer power requirement, all in service of moving to Kingdom 902. After last checking in on him during his internal castle battle, he went on to become king of that server. And we now join partway through day 2 of Kingdom of Power, or KvK Prep, where he can finally start to use some of the resources he's been saving up for over a month. Hopefully, max out a new Generation 4 hero or two and score some KvK points. Now, this is the first episode we are recording after the beginning of the series has been published, so Hugh and I have just started to see some of the initial reactions to the first 2 episodes. So before getting into the strategic discussion, Hugh, why don't you share your reactions now seeing the initial comments coming in after the first 10,000 or so people have tuned in to hear what you've had to say?
Yeah, so I can actually do basic maths. 8 plus 5 is definitely 12. If anybody tells you otherwise, they're 100% lying. I I was very good in school, and that's something that I pride myself on highly, evidently. And some of the comments that I've been receiving from people, sort of from outside servers and stuff like that, it's been hilarious. Like I've really enjoyed the journey so far, and connecting with new people, different people messaging me with, questions about what they want, other people just, sort of taking the mick out of, some of the stuff that I've said that's been a bit, I don't know, questionable. But it's been fun. It's been really fun. Like, just meeting different people and having good conversations. I've really enjoyed it. So, if
Yeah,
anybody else is thinking of doing something like this, I'd 100% recommend it.
yeah, and honestly, that's half the fun of creating some sort of content that's gonna be seen by thousands of people. You say a wrong word here or there, like, I get pretty regularly lampooned for how I pronounce cavalry.
Yeah.
Sometimes I
Yeah.
I switch up the L and the V in there, and, oh, man, I see it in the comments.
Yeah, people are fast to let you know when you slip up, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's,
Hey, I'm glad they're watching it that
funny.
closely, you know? That's great.
Yeah, me too. At least they're paying attention and they're listening because there is some stuff that's good nuggets of information. And if they can block out the jargon of me, or you making mishaps, then they can probably retain quite a lot of good, useful information.
Yeah, exactly. So like let's talk a little bit about the journey to how we got to this point first. So you were originally on 915. We're in the process of moving to 902, and in order to do so, had to get under the power limit requirement for a regular invite. That required basically nuking your account and also a lot of
Yeah.
strategy, a surprising amount of strategy for rebuilding after you get there and also even what you spent before. So we've kind of talked about that in all the different installments that we've had for the series.
Yeah.
And now here we sort of are at the capstone one, the moment we've sort of all been waiting for, where we're now in KvK prep week, and you can finally, after months, start unloading.
Spend some stuff. Yeah, I can actually do some bits, and get going again with rebuilding and becoming, sort of one of the strongest in the server again, hopefully. I mean, I'm
Y-
not sure. There's people here now that spend probably a lot more than I do, but I'll certainly give them a good push. I'll give them a run for the money.
And let's talk a little
Well,
bit about that. So we didn't record last week. We missed Alliance mobilization, but maybe you can give us a little bit of a quick synopsis of how that went for you and how you were thinking about that in light of the KVK coming up and the packs you were looking out for. We also had the big anniversary thing. Be great if you could share a little bit
yeah,
about that.
yeah. So I'm more than happy to go through that. Actually, I mean, you'll probably see throughout this video. If you go on my Alliance chat and scroll quickly, there's lots of people who are still buying the packs, and it's been open for a while. These lavish tables. I mean, I've bought some myself. I bought one of each for everybody just to give back, and quite a lot of people in the alliance have been doing that for everybody just to sort of give back because we're all in it together. It's a team game, and the more that we can do collectively to help one another, the better it is for everybody. Yeah, so mobilization again. I built up gems and spent gems predominantly on the VIP 12 wheel, and I got no luck as usual. Uh, Getting towards the black hole comet skin.
Where are you on that? Can you show us?
Yeah, I think I'm at 32. Yeah, 32 out of 100 so far. So I've got a bit to go. And obviously I'll be cashing all these VIP points in that I get from buying more packs here and there, and that'll predominantly come, you know, this week when the good packs drop, and next week, sort of for Alliance Brawl as well. So that's where I'm going to be really pushing most of my money and most of the stuff that I have on the account, like the gems. But it was important for me to not go overboard on it. The packs weren't brilliant last week for mobilization. We had the feast event, so I bought all of those and I collected up points for mobilization on that.
And just to share a
Well,
bit for the audience what we're talking about there. So I have a guide for Alliance mobilization. I can link it below in the description. But
yeah,
there are particular tasks within there, certain missions that you can get. Some of them are made to get points off of spending resources, like upgrading governor
yeah,
gear and charms and things like that. But some of them are made for acquiring resources, particularly the ones for the packs. So given that this special seasonal event for the first anniversary for Kingshot was during Alliance mobilization, there's an opportunity to double dip if you're a whale.
yeah. So you can buy gems and you can also spend gems and you can use tasks for both, which really does help, sort of push you along in whatever it is that you want to be. Because for each task that you complete, you get a certain amount of alliance coins, and you get these chests in your backpack that you can open, which give you, more gems and more speed ups. And I can't remember the exact thing that it gives. I've opened them all now, so I can't show you. But you know, it's beneficial, and the rewards that you get each time for leveling up as an alliance, and the higher you can rank in that, obviously, the better rewards the game will give you. But I think the biggest thing that I wanted to try and do is keep around about 200,000 gems. Obviously, I've obtained quite a bit today, as you can see, through the event here on the dining records. These dish dish gifting. I mean, that's already given me 35,000 in my backpack that I could use. And it's given a handful of other bits as well, like hammers and shards and speed ups. But if you look down, I mean, we're a big alliance, and we've got a lot of people who spend a lot of money, and you can sort of see here, these people aren't joking. Oh, there I am. I did contribute, I promise. But
Yes, you did.
like everybody in here is kind of sort of singing from the same hymn sheet. We all want to help each other. We all want to grow together and win together and play well together. It's nice that even the smaller players who don't typically spend a lot of money are trying to at least contribute a little bit towards it. I think we've had 100 now so far on the dash gifting, or dish gifting, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it was really important for me to stay around the 200,000 mark, because today is the hero day and I haven't spun the wheel yet. So I'm going to blow all my gems spinning the wheel and trying to upgrade Rosa and hopefully get lucky on some shards. I
Yep.
did do all three of the Generation 4 heroes that I had. I just had the shards. I wanted some points at reset. And I was lazy, but I did nothing else. I didn't bring them up in upgrading. I didn't do any of the skills or even put any gear on them. Yeah, I just left them all blank for the video. So I'm sorry I was impatient, but yeah, I did save a little bit for you guys to watch and play along with. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
and in
mean,
fairness, so the kingdom that Hugh's on, this is their first KvK with the new Gen 4 heroes. So he's been anxiously awaiting since the server
yeah, I've
reset
been
to be able
pulling a
to
lot of
actually
stuff
build
for a
them.
long time. So I've got if I look on here and I go to ascend, I've got, there you go, 1,500 generic shards. So my aim from this is, if I go on Rosa and I have a look, she's currently at 3 stars. If I want to ascend her, if I want to get her up to 4 stars, so I only need to use 600 out of these generic ones. I need 272. So what I'm going to try is to spin it 150 times today and hopefully get somewhere close to that 272 needed, so that I can put the generic shards into another hero, and hopefully potentially max them out as well.
For our viewers, by the way, this is one of the
Mhm.
distinct ways that your strategy for building heroes is a bit differently with a whale. So if you are a
Yeah.
free to play player, my advice to you would be spend your time doing the wheel spins. Don't do more than 120 a week and just build roses slowly over the course of Generation 4, and you can max her out that way, assuming you have the
Yeah.
gems, which when there's events like this anniversary thing or some other seasonal event every once in a while, you can usually pull that off. But
Yeah.
if you're a whale, that doesn't do you any good to get the hero max at the end of the generation,
No, it
especially if you're going
doesn't.
to be fighting over the castle battle in a few days. So
Yeah.
you gotta
It was,
spend past the
yeah.
free reward spins of the 120 and potentially even think about using general shards, which sounds odd if you're not used to doing that.
Yeah. So I mean, these milestones, I think you probably call them, is how many times you spin it, and each time you spin and collect, so for spinning it 5 times, you get 5 shards, and you also get the skill books. I mean, I have tons of these skill books, 2,700, and of each. So I'm not really worried about the skills. I'll be able to max them out. But it's convenient and handy that each time you spin and hit this milestone, you're able to obtain a little bit more if you're not so lucky on the spin. These are guaranteed shards that you're going to get. So hopefully, I mean, somebody in my alliance did the calculation for it, and I can't remember the exact number. But he was sort of saying if you look at the chance and you look at where it's at, you're probably going to get less than one per spin. So on average, if you can do 120 spins, you're probably looking at around about 100, shards. And if you add that on to the 50 and the 30 here, you're looking at around about 200 shards, which is really good. But I'm going to do an extra 30 and hope to get lucky so that I'm using less generic shards, and then I can use them on another hero to try and boost them up to maximum. The good thing about Alcar is that he comes in the daily packs, which give a lot of speed ups as well. I've spoke about that before. It's one of the best value packs that you can get. So I'll probably just try and top Alcar up using those and get him to where he needs to be. I mean, he's 3 stars so far, and I can take him a little higher daily. But for right now, because I have Amadeus maxed out and I'll predominantly be attacking, he's the hero that I'm going to go for using, and I'll just do Alcar sort of slowly.
Can I just say before you get to the wheel,
Mhm.
that was very brave of you to do more mental math on the fly.
Yeah, thank you. I tried my best for that one. I mean, I asked everybody the question before I started this video. I was like, guys, come on, help me out here with a maths. It's really not the strong point. So I have to shout out the Alliance for that one. They've helped me out a bunch.
Get back on the horse right after the comments.
Yeah, that's it. Somebody else will pick up something that I missed out or didn't say properly. So whoever you are, thank you in advance.
It wasn't exactly 100, Hugh.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Right, okay, so I guess I'm gonna spin. So at the bottom here, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but you can spin it 10 times, and you can use gems. I'm gonna turn this little pop-up off so we don't have to press it every time. And you can spin it 10 times for 9 of these little lucky chips. I already have 6, sort of left over from last time when I bought them, so I'm just gonna spin that and see what I get. 10, 11, 12, 13. I mean, that is 14, isn't it? I'm not counting wrong there.
No, you're good. Math checks out.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
So
a
if
really
I
good spin,
flash,
actually.
it is, to get 2 of those time 5 is really, it doesn't happen very often. I mean, my luck's been shocking with stuff like this in the past. So, I'm just hoping that on video for you all, I can make a good show of it. So I'll collect everything at the end. I'll just fly through the spins, so it's not.
All right, your luck's averaging out.
Yeah, I got another time 5.
There you
That's
go.
fine. I mean, the target is, of course, 272, but I'm never going to get there. So realistically, if I can get around 200, I'll be pretty happy. Terrible. Yeah, luck's running out. Oh, there we go. Coming back. 13, 40. There we go. Okay, so that's all of them done. I'll just collect all of these and go see where we're allowed to push her up to. Because on the Kingdom versus Kingdom event today, or Kingdom of Power, one of the conditions today is to use hero shards. So for every hero shard that you use, and obviously play the roulette as well gives you points. But for every hero shard you use, you get more points. So that's just boosted me up to the top 40 now. And if I go into my heroes, have a little look at Rosa. Let's see, 241. That's not bad at all. So I'll do it the quick way, and I'll do 59. Push her to 4-star. Now I'll just show you guys as well, just in case anybody wasn't aware. When people are asking for star levels of heroes, particularly for joining events like Bear Trap and things like that, 4 stars really are, the milestone that you should be looking for. Because once you get to 4 stars, this skill in the top right hand corner, you can make that level 5. And obviously, that's the one that's applicable for joining a rally.
The
Well,
question will be now to continue building Rosa. Are you going to do the 150 spins again tomorrow when it resets?
no, I'll make a 5-star now for the event, um, just because.
Well,
How many
you'll
would
still
I?
get the KvK points if you spin it tomorrow.
Yeah, and I know I can buy more spins from the packs. I think to get Margot full from this point would be a little less than 1,000, if I'm right. Yeah, I thought it was somewhere around 1050 or 1060. Yeah, I suppose I could wait. I could wait and use less generic shards and do both of them to max at the same time.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Because if you spend another 150 spins for Rosa, you'll still, I mean, you'll probably get about another
I'll probably get
120,
another
150.
200 and
Yeah,
yeah, something
120,
like that.
130 shards. So it'll still give you like another point on the star, but it's not going to fill it. But
Yeah,
you can actually spin it for 3 days. The third one just wouldn't be any KvK benefit because you don't get
yeah,
points for it then.
it just wouldn't work towards anything. But I mean, the packs that come out tomorrow are charm packs, and I think the troop speeds and the tech speeds. So I'll be buying both of those anyway. So I'll have the gems to be able to spin it again, and if not, I'll just buy the top up packs. And if I max out all of the skills really quick, she's already going to jump quite high in my list of heroes without any widgets, without any hero gear on. She's already ahead of all of these other SR heroes. So, you know, you can see even not maxed out, she's a very, very good hero. She's definitely worth investing in. And, I'd recommend investing in all of the spin the wheel heroes or the hero roulette heroes. Whether you're free to play, whether you're spending a ton of money, like whatever it is that your budget is, if you can save up and get 120 spins from it, it's certainly worth doing because these heroes are beneficial for you for lots of different reasons, lots of different events, and it's good fun. But let's see where that took me in the rankings now. 33, so I've got a bit more to do. Ideally, I want to kind of push myself up into the top sort of 15 or 20 if I can. So another thing that I can do today is technology. Now, I know I have quite a lot of speed ups for this, but I am saving a lot of those for Troop Day. Now, this is a quick one, Squad Lethality. So I'm going to blow a few of my speed ups here. Boost that to level 4. How many days is it for level 5? 20. Let's see if we've got a cheap one somewhere. 10 days. Let's do Cavalry Health. So, first things first, I'm going to go to the King page and I'm going to change to this one, which helps me with 10% on research speed. Now, if you are looking at doing big upgrades that are going to use weeks or, sometimes longer, like this one, for example, is 54 days right now with the buff on. I'd always recommend if you're not the king in the server to apply for that position.
Yeah,
Whatever you
absolutely.
can do to bring that time down. Look at the original there. 104 days is ridiculous. I've almost halved it.
Yep.
Just by
Can you
the events that are on.
Can you
Well,
actually go back to the king page? Because I think this is something most players never will get to see, right? Just
yeah, of course.
statistically, you can only have one king at a time over a long period of playing. So,
Yeah.
so most players won't get to. But yeah, when you are the king, you can jump
So
around
this is
at will between the minister buff types.
yeah, so there is a cooldown on them, which is good to show because I've just changed. So there is a cooldown of 5 minutes between changing. So if you are doing something, you do have to have 5 minutes of patience, but it's not as bad as, waiting half an hour for your appointment slot to finish and then asking for another position. It's not so bad at all. But you can see here, if I use the king natural skill, it boosts all of my stats by 5%. I can boost lethality on its own by just 10, or I can boost just attack and my deployment by 2.5. Now, the martial position is a really good one for events like Alliance Championship. If you're able to send more troops with, better squad attack, it actually boosts your score up quite a bit. I can't remember the exact amount of points that it gives you extra, but it does make your line up, that little bit stronger, which is obviously going to benefit your chances in winning. The
Yep.
more people that you can get into that martial position before they register the troops, or even after they register the troops, if they can get into the martial position and update them, it's going to help them massively. Oh, somebody else bought a pack. Greedy whales.
And I think here's a good spot to give a quick special thank you to my Sloth Squad channel members whose continued support helps make videos like this possible. And also thanks to the Play Smarter community who've made a way for serious spenders to save money on packs and support my channel by leveraging your in-game spend when checking out with creator code SLOTH. If you want a trustworthy, concierge-like approach to buying packs at a discount that follows you from game to game and treats you like a VIP, then check out the link below in the description for details.
Now, I usually leave these ticked where it automatically approves people because, again, I'm very lazy. It's easier to just let people fight amongst themselves and pick a time that suits them and apply for it whenever. Um, but you can see here we've got Mini Meowie. She's the Minister of Justice. She can actually change all of these times and set it up for people where they've got a specific time slot for a specific buff. And during KvK right now, we actually just took votes off everybody and said, who's got the most of this, who's got the most of this, who wants,
Yep.
which particular time. She made a spreadsheet for it, filled it all out. It's like I did next to nothing, and she's just been, an absolute godsend. I love her for it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, that's what we do in our kingdom too. All the alliances will send out a poll to check
Yeah.
how many, alliances,
Who's
or you
got
can just say, I
one?
don't need the position. If like say it's the building day and you don't need the minister position because you have enough speed ups for what you're going to build anyway, and you'd rather get the extra points and just burn the speed up. So yeah, we do that
Yeah.
too, and then someone coordinates it and puts it all in a spreadsheet, and that becomes the appointment time slots.
Yeah, and it's like today, is or for us, we're doing it as the research day. Yesterday we did buildings. A lot of the players have already maxed out the buildings that they can do, so they've got no true. I mean, they've got plenty of true gold, but they can't use it because we're limited to TG5 at the moment. So hardly any of our bigger players actually needed the buff yesterday. It was just kind of sat there for everybody else to use and get involved in. So if if your alliances and your leaders are asking you to fill in this information, it is really really valuable for the whole server. I mean, we won yesterday by a landslide. I'll try and show you now. Go on to point details, you can see there, we scored over 1 billion points yesterday, another 1 billion today. Is and as a personal alliance, we're scoring 873 million, which is huge. I think this is the best we've ever done personally as as an alliance and also as a server so far. It's been really fun and entertaining. I look at some of the scores from yesterday, and you can see sort of here, he's 186 million in comparison with someone like Leon who's above 400 million. He's massively outscored him. Now Steve did an awful lot on charms and other bits, and Leon obviously did too. Quite a few of our players did, but I did next to nothing yesterday because I had no buildings, and I'm saving my charms for another day so that I can try and win on that day when everyone's used as much as they possibly can. I'm going to try and sweep in and take the 25,000 gems. I'm
Yeah.
hoping anyway. It might not fall that way, but fingers crossed, we'll see.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah, and
while
it's the
we're
same again today. These individual scores are huge for our server. and these are mainly just done with tech speed ups. It's super impressive to see that these guys are putting in big numbers. I really enjoy it.
Well, I think also too the first KvK for a new hero generation, you're also going to get all the new hero shard points, which is another major source of them. And
Yeah,
also
that's
too, since you
it.
were showing the KvK matchup, I'll give a shout out to Myersman Zero on YouTube. I have no idea what his handle is in game, but he had commented on one of the videos and said they matched up with 902 this KvK.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so he's the one that's watching me and calling out my
Yeah,
my bad match.
he's taking notes. So
Yeah,
let's score some points. You can show him.
yeah. I'm hesitant to show my backpack, but I'll get a tech started and finished, and then what I might do is actually just start a really big tech ready for next time to finish. So once this is, I'm not going to bother waiting for help, so I'm just going to do it quickly. It's only 12 days. 54 days is the highest one I've got. So I'm going to start that. I'm going to set the helps. And because I know that, it's going to take off 28 days or more, I'm looking to finish that big tech on the next prep phase really cheaply, really easily, and hopefully build up much more speeds to be able to, sort of finish that branch and get as far as I can in the War Academy as well. I think we're all kind of eagerly anticipating the T11 troops that are going to come out.
Yeah, that'll be your next KvK, I believe.
Yeah, I hope so because I'm eagerly anticipating them. Yeah, sort of rebuild. So I'm back up to 230. If I go on my squad, you can see here all those poor cavalry troops that got absolutely butchered. They're working their way back up. It's not troop day yet, but I did do some infantry and I did do some cavalry for strongest governor. I won troop day, or I came second on troop day. And that was another gift. Yeah, that was really nice. To sort of set the bar on that and build some troops back. It's helped me out a lot for Vikings, which we have tomorrow. I was struggling before in Vikings because I just couldn't. I had no troops to send out to balance the lines. it was it was tricky. Archers don't score anything at the level we're at, so all my archer troops were just sat there idle. So it was big for me to be able to do that, so I can participate a bit more and sort of get involved in that. So yeah, that was quite good. And obviously, troop day for us is day 4 on prep, so I'll be spending the around 200 days that I've got left predominantly on troops and see how high I can build myself back up. I think when we started recording, I was what 259 because I had already killed some troops off beforehand just to see how many it would do. I think the highest this account got to is 280 or 290, but I'd already, sort of butchered a few. Um, but yeah, if I can get back around that mark, sort of close to the 300 million mark, I'll be really impressed and quite happy with myself.
We'll have to keep an eye out on that too, since you'll be also potentially streaming for me for the KvK live stream coming up this weekend.
Yeah, that's it. I'm really looking forward to it, actually. It's going to be stressful. I can tell you right now, it's going to be stressful, but I am really looking forward to it. I just hope it's not as bad as the internal battle where I made all the mistakes of, not not asking for the right troops and stuff. And yeah, that was.
Oh, that one hasn't even released yet, so that one comes out tomorrow for us while we're recording, but it'll obviously be before this episode goes. So I'm sure we'll get
Yeah,
many more fun comments.
yeah, that's it. People will be looking at me and calling me crazy and stupid and all this, that, and the other, and I can't wait for it. So bring me
and
your
if
best comment.
and if you've been watching these and wondering why we have the bottom of the screen cut off, part of it is also just resizing for the dimensions of the video, but also
Yeah,
there's when he tells folks that he's going on to
yeah,
record with me, he's been getting some messages.
yeah. So I've got quite a few menaces in my alliance that no, I'm not supposed to use profanity. I'm not supposed to use cuss words and swear, and it kind of dims me down quite a lot. So I tell everybody, I'm like, guys, be good, please. Like I've got a video with Sloth, and there ain't much he can really do if he sees a swear word pop up on the screen. It's kind of let's try and keep it to a minimum, and I'll just get constant bombarded with messages of swear words.
Yep. I mean, for
It's
folks who like my content that much, they're sure trying to get me kicked out of YouTube, so, you know.
I know apparently they love it, but it's it's all good fun seeing who can get a name drop and a mention. So I'm you know I'm doing my best. I try and
Thanks.
shout out as many as I can. Um, and
Appreciate
some of the
it.
people from other servers that have messaged me, like I really do appreciate the messages. I've had some in 855, I've had some in 923. I've had some really low servers as well. Just sort of message me saying like, "Hi, I enjoyed your content." So, that was nice. It was really good. So, hopefully, more of them come in and we grow as a Kingshot community a bit more together.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think the
it's
funniest
important.
ones were the ones trying to recruit you as if you're going to blow up all of your troops again
Yeah,
anytime
you
soon.
know, I just blew up my account. Let me rebuild it and blow it up again. Yeah, I think 855 asked me to go there. I can't remember the name of the player that it was, but yeah, that was hilarious. I had a really good conversation with him. Seemed like a lovely guy. Um, and I've had a few others that have said, "Our transfer bracket's going to expand. It would be possible for me to move there." And I've kind of looked at it and thought, "Nah, I'm all right, thank you." But it's always nice to have the offers. You never know what's going to happen tomorrow, so
Yeah,
you got to keep all options open.
yeah, exactly. Hey, should we go back to scoring points? I think you still have
Yeah.
some heroes you can build. I mean, I know we're leaving Rosa
Uh,
on ice for the wheel tomorrow, but you're looking at Elcar and Margot potentially here.
yeah, so what I'll do is I'll get Margot and I'll take her up at least to 4 stars. And that should allow me enough to max out Rosa tomorrow and hopefully Margot tomorrow as well. Um, Sorry, this is the boring bit that I hate.
You call it boring, but I think it's quite satisfying because I
Yeah,
I gotta tell you, we just have on my kingdom KvK for our first one for Generation 6. And I was sitting on, since I really didn't build too many on the Generation 5 ones other than Lung Fei on the wheel. So I was sitting
yeah,
on about 1,100 hero shards, and I just basically
nice.
I maxed out Yang last night at the server reset. And it was so satisfying just taking a hero from 0 stars all the way to 5 at once. It's
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's
it.
fun to watch actually.
Yeah, it's probably more fun to watch than to do. Um, I mean, for me, there we go. I made top 20, and let's see how far. See, I'm really not far behind some of these people. If I can get another 2 or 3 million points, I think I secure myself in the top 20 um, for now. So I can't finish that tech 'cause it's too many days. I want to do troops. I guess heroes it is.
Well, do you still have days of tech speed ups?
No, I used all my tech speed up, so
So
it's
it's all
just
general
general
now.
now. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put
Okay.
all of my general in onto troops. Um, but I'm gonna take her up just one more star, use another 100. I'll buy some more tomorrow if I need to.
Well,
But
you'll get
let's
all
see
the
where
points
that
for the wheel
puts me.
spins tomorrow too.
Yeah, that's it. Let's see where that puts me for the day. Up to 19th. Yeah, that should do for now, hopefully. What I might do, why not? I'm in the habit of using speed, so where's my tech? Oh, so I am going to cancel this tech, which you might think is crazy, because it tells you that you're only going to get 50% of the resources back. But I mean, I've got sort of 12 billion, of each resource. I'm not desperate for resources. I'm just going to cancel that one, and I'm going to throw a few more days at this. Do some cheap ones. 10 days. That's good enough for me. All right, let's see where that puts me to. Hopefully, it's enough to keep within the top 20. Yeah, 17th, 10 million. That's not a bad score. Not a bad score at all. I'm quite content with that. So, yeah, hopefully, Troop Day will come around and I can blast a load of troops off.
Troop day is always the wild card. That's
Yeah, that's it.
the
You never know when somebody's going to go crazy. It's the highest scoring day of each event that you're going to
yeah.
do.
I've seen
So,
kingdoms that have been behind the first 3 days, and then Troop Day comes around, and suddenly they just pop
And they
off
just
because
turn it around.
all the free
Yep.
to play players were sitting on 300,000 troops that are, tier 9 troops waiting to be promoted to tier 10, and they get tens of millions of points, and cumulatively, that ends up being a big difference on the overall score.
Yeah, that's it. And it does. It makes a big difference. You can sort of see a lot of what you're going to do will swing around Troop Day, whether you're focusing on, Alliance Brawl or Strongest Governor. I mean, if you're really early in the game and you've got a Hall of Governors, which is really where you're going to pick up the most amount of Amadeus shards. Troop Day is the one where you're going to score the most points, and that's going to be the swing day for you predominantly, which is for me why I'm keeping a lot of my, sort of speed ups back um, for Troop Day, because although we've got a pretty impressive lead right now, we're almost 1 billion points ahead. I think it is, or yeah, almost 1 billion points ahead overall in the total points. That could change in a heartbeat on day 4. So, as a responsible person, a responsible leader of the alliance, I'm kind of preserving what I've got, what I want to use, and making sure that we tick the boxes for every day, of the week, to make sure that we don't fall behind on a swing day like Troop Day. So, yeah, it's pretty important for me and pretty important for us if we're looking to win the prep phase and ultimately, have the battle in the other kingdom as opposed to in ours. So that's the goal, that's the aim, and that's where we want to be at.
And now as we talk about the rest of this week to play out, I don't wanna
Hmm.
give too much away because I know you're still in a competitive situation, but are there
Yeah.
any trade-offs you're thinking about in terms of how to use resources?
Yeah, so obviously, if you look on these packages here, it gives these chests. Like I own 183 of them right now, and you can see there, you can redeem them to get some really impressive things. Now, charms is something that scores really, really highly in prep phase. Governor gear is always expensive to get. I wouldn't really recommend using it on hammers or gear enhancement unless you're really close. If you're really close and you need, a really small amount, like I've got a number here of 183, I probably wouldn't use more than 20 of them on, sort of hero EXP or on forge hammers. Um, that's as far as I'd go. I think there's far better ways to score points and improve and boost your account. And that's sort of down the route of definitely through charms, because that's where you're going to score the most points. It
Yeah.
covers every day for a reason, or nearly every day for a reason.
And if you're
Um,
someone who's watching this and you're thinking about this, I mean, we at some point want to have the optimizer be tailored to actually give a mathematical answer to this of, hey, given your account position and all these different types of domains you could spend it on, from governor gear to governor charms to hero gear to, whatever, what is
yeah,
actually the best for you? Because there's actually a few factors at play. There's diminishing returns the further you go down any path, right? When you start out your governor gear journey, you get,
yeah,
5% for your first piece of green gear. It's super cheap. By the time you're getting into red gear, it's wildly expensive. You're getting,
yeah. It's stupidly
2% for
expensive.
an upgrade, something like that, plus or minus. And
Yeah,
the return on investment just gets less and less and less. And I use that as an example, but it's the same for charms. The deeper you get in, the same for hero gear. It becomes
yeah,
more and more expensive incrementally. And for some of them, not all, hero gear is a bit of an exception because of that multiplicative effect with the mastery, but most of them you actually also get less per level incrementally too. So it's double on the diminishing returns. So
yeah.
the answer for like how to use a chest like that is actually different for each person given if they're over or under invested in one of these other domains to begin with.
Yeah, and I mean, for my alliance, I built or I wrote down a sheet of all the things that I look at to buy as being absolutely crucial. From the cheap packs, and most of them are the cheap packs because they do give the best value for money. And the longer you can hold on to the contents of those cheaper packs, the better you're going to score in events. People talk all about hoarding your backpack and don't waste all your stuff, and don't participate in this, that, and the other. It's kind of always going to be a balancing act of constant improvement, which everybody wants, winning events, which everybody wants, and saving up what you've got to be able to participate in more events, especially if you are on a a certain type of budget, it really kind of balances itself out across the board where you've got to kind of look at every situation of what you're doing and work out what's going to be the best for you. Like I pushed Troop Day on um, Strongest Governor, and I ended up getting a good amount of shards back for Alcar, which has ultimately pushed him up. It's a 3-star today. Whereas if I was just buying the regular packs each day, it might not have got that far. So it was
Yes.
important for me to get some level of rewards because it's helped me to score points today, but also conserve quite a lot of stuff so that I didn't sort of overspend where it was unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. And I think even the way we've talked about spending some of the speed ups here, like you're talking about saving speed ups to not use on research and instead using them on building troops. And I think for most people, that would actually be a bit of an unorthodox move. But given that you need to
Yeah,
rebuild your troops coming in and you're already almost close to maxing out the tech tree,
yeah, my tech
there's
is
it,
almost done. There's not much left to do now without it being extremely expensive, and the packs that I can buy that come around. I wish I could show you, but they're not available. They were just a day early. But the tech specific packs that come around, you get sort of 60 days from those. That covers one tech investment for me. It's
yep.
54 days for this shield upgrade, or it might cover 2 or 3. It's never that much that I could actually do. So when I'm planning stuff like starting this upgrade now, I'm doing it with a future event in mind, knowing that I'm only going to have 100 to 200 days based off how many packs I can physically buy. They just don't come available that often. It's if they're not there, you can't buy them. And
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
limited to what you can and can't get. Obviously, we've got the War Academy coming out soon, and I'm going to need speed ups for that. So it's a balancing act for me of, well, where do I put my stuff? What's more important? And for right now, I'd probably say it is the troops are more important because if I'm throwing on a buff for something, like, if I'm registering for Alliance Championship and I put all the buffs on and we have Bear Trap 2 hours later or something like that, my buff's still active and I can't physically send out a 10-10-8 line, a formation of 10-10-8. I don't have enough troops to send out enough, archer, cavalry and infantry troops. They're just not there. So I do need them for other aspects of the game. Although it was good fun, sort of dismissing them, well, killing them all. They are important. They do a lot for other events, but I chose my route and my path and my explanation as to why, and I do think it's been the most beneficial for me right now. Like, I've never been that bothered about Vikings. I've never been that bothered about, sort of other things where cavalry could be important. It's always for me been the regular events because I'm there and I'm active, and I want to I want to score as well as I can in Bear Trap. So it's been it has been good fun. If I could do things differently, if I could go back to before transfer and sort of rewind all the time, I don't think I'd change anything really. I think I'd probably do it pretty much exactly how I have done it. I don't have any regrets to nuking all of those troops. But what I would probably do is see if there was a better opportunity for me to get more speed ups, to sort of retrain them a little bit faster. Um, but because I couldn't participate in the Alliance Brawl, it kind of stunted that part for me. So, when you are considering everything, if you are looking at moving, whenever your transfer window opens again, just, sort of bear it in the back of your mind that, okay, this is what I'm going to have to deal with. This is what I'm going to struggle with, and this is what I realistically need to jump back to where I was, prior to the move. So yeah, I think that's good information that people should understand that, so the later you progress in the game, the more all types of troops do become important.
Yeah, there's more
Um,
variety of content, and even you see too, as you'll find in deeper in Gen 4 and beyond, there's a lot more use of that 60-40 formation. So that
yeah,
one actually, you want the cavalry for it. But we talked
yeah,
about that at the beginning, right? The priority was making sure you could keep your hammer income unimpeded for bear trap. You've
yeah,
been sort of
exactly.
leaning into those formations, like when we talked about the last castle battle, because you had some of the troops back, but not all of them. And
Yeah,
now, that's just it's a trade-off we had to make, and,
yeah.
there's no perfect
You've
answer.
got to pick. No, that's it. You've got to pick one way or the other. You can kind of divide all of your troops equally. I mean, irrespective of where you're at, you probably the most troops you're going to have that you're going to be able to move with is around about 1 million or 1.1 million. So you're never going to be, sort of huge in terms of having all 7 lines available for bear trap. But so it's just personal preference, really. I can't recommend one way or the other, but I can tell you all right now that I don't regret doing it the way I did it. And if anybody was to ask me personally, you know, would you recommend it? I'd say, yeah, absolutely. It's been good fun. Like uh, I loved it. I still love it. And I'm kind of tying with everybody at the moment. So I did Legion 2 in Swordland because I just knew if I went into Legion 1 with the alliance that we faced, I knew I was just going to get zeroed immediately. There's not much you can really do about it. I don't have enough troops, and Legion 2 is good fun as well. Like we came up against, uh, you know, another good alliance that had some really strong people, but it was a good battle. And all of our players who are in Legion 2 kind of relished the fact that he had what we'd call a whale account in there that was able to rally on the middle and, help reinforce them and score them more points. So yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun, and hopefully next time I can do Legion 1 and have a few more troops to be able to stand alone.
Yeah, I look forward to that. I mean, already too, hopefully you have a few more troops to be thrown around for Castle Battle coming up this weekend.
Yeah, yeah, I'm hoping to be able to. I mean, already I should have enough to make 1 line because I can only participate in one of the castle
Yep.
buildings at a time. So I've got enough for 1 line, and I'm happy with that and content with it.
You'll want another one while you're healing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And the more troops I can get on troop day, and the more balanced I can have my troops, sort of split and divided, will benefit me the most. So this time I'm probably not going to train very many archers. I'm just going to go pretty crazy on infantry and cavalry and try and try and level it out a little bit where the numbers are kind of similar, or at least ratio proportionate. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll go with that. It sounds about right.
Sounds educated.
Yeah, that's it. I'm just using big words and hoping nobody calls them out.
Yeah, because that's not
Um,
gonna happen in the comments.
but yeah, if I can make them appropriate to the ratios that I need or that I want for certain things, that's the real end goal, the real target. So fingers crossed for it. Hopefully, it should go quite well.
Yeah, and I think with that, we're probably getting now to the end of the series, right? We'll have a proper capstone of it with you streaming during the KvK
Yeah,
match. But
yeah.
I think
Well,
as
we'll
far as
think
this
about it.
goes, it feels like we're getting to a point of wrap up here. So I'd just like to say thank you for coming in and being so open and transparent with your account. I know not a lot of whales would be willing to open themselves up that way. So thank you for that, especially, and also too, just for the fun of coming on here and laughing and
Yeah,
joking
I mean,
around and talking
yeah.
strategy.
If I was going to thank you for anything, it'd be the amount of fun that we've been able to have throughout the course of this. Like I've thoroughly enjoyed it all, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be sending me more messages after these next episodes drop. So, it's just been amazing. Like I've really enjoyed the experience, and if anybody else can come on and do something similar and enjoy it, I think they'll have so much fun doing it because yeah, I've absolutely loved my time. it's been absolutely hilarious, and the people around me have enjoyed it too, all my alliance members or the people in my other server before I left, it's been really nice. Just kind of, it the game is boring. You log in, you do the same stuff, and it's very, very repetitive, and like it's just, you need something that's just a fresh spark, a fresh idea, something that's fun and uplifting, and I think just having the craziness of an idea of, yeah, let's just nuke this account and you know move it around and do something stupid and wild and crazy. It's kind of a story that people just are interested in, because there's not much in the game that you're really doing for fun other than talking to people.
You do realize you're calling the game boring to someone who regularly makes spreadsheets about how to optimally
Yeah.
play it. So
Yeah,
perhaps I'm not
I'm
the best
telling you
judge
people
on it.
how bad this is. I mean, as an R5 and somebody who's heavily involved in all the stuff within my server, and I was previously as well, in 915, I helped them out too. I probably should be more geeky. I probably should care a bit more, but I kind of want to play this game for fun, and that's a big thing for me. Like, we all just downloaded a game from a stupid advert. It was nothing like what we anticipated. If we can get involved in it and make the most out of it and have, a good time of it, it's beneficial for everybody. So yeah, thank you for allowing me this opportunity to do it and share it with everyone. And for those of them, that are interested, you can come along and watch the castle battle over the weekend, and hopefully we can win. And I won't be left with pie on my face and all
Yeah.
embarrassed.
The stakes are raised. You better
Yeah,
after having all these whales come to 902.
I know, that's it. We've got so many fights here now. It's like, it's crazy. If we don't win, I'm gonna resign. So, if anyone's got any questions done and wants to know a little bit more why I'm targeting certain things and certain upgrades, like, feel free to just message me anytime. Like, I'm a pretty open book. You've seen all of my account inside and out at this point, so I got no problems sort of chatting and helping people out as best I can. And yeah, I just hope everybody keeps enjoying Kingshot and having fun on it.
Yeah, we've seen all of your account except what's in the bag.
Yeah, I've hit the bag this time, and I'm not sorry for it. So whoever's from 848 and looking, that's screw you. I'm joking. I'm joking. Like, good luck on the battle phase, if whoever it is. Um, I try not to zero you when I'm going around having fun.
And if you do,
So
it's nothing personal.
yeah, it's genuinely nothing personal. Like the other Kingdom battle that I did, I just went and had some fun and killed some troops. It's all just part of the game. I just, I hope that translates. That I'm not a bad person. I'm just having fun in my own weird warped way.
All right. Well, thanks again, Hugh. And for our viewers, if you want to check in on Hugh's KvK battle, be sure to catch him streaming this weekend on our KvK live stream extravaganza, where he'll be one of the 6 matches we're covering simultaneously. It's always a lot of good fun. This was certainly a fun series to produce, and I hope it's been fun to watch as well. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay notified of the latest channel updates. Thanks again for watching, and happy gaming out there.